Hey y'all, Jamie here, proud 55-year-old trans woman from New Orleans. So, where last I left off, y'all, me and one of my best friends, Terry. She'd been beaten up by a boy named Blonde-Headed Tommy in the French Quarter and had a big abrasion across her face because a little bitch from Houston named Jamie, just like me, she had told a bunch of lies to him and said that Terry had said a bunch of stuff. So Terry had this big old thing across her face, right? And she was furious. So, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, we get in a cab. We ride over to the Superdome Motor Inn on Tulane Avenue. That's where Jamie was staying. Y'all, we get there, and Terry stands to one side of the door, and I knock on the door. Jamie comes to the door and she's like, "Who is it?" And I'm like, "Hey girl, it's Jamie, you know." And she is like, "Girl, who's with you?" And I said, "Nobody, girl, nobody's with me." I said, "I just have a question for you." And y'all, she opened the door. Yeah, she opened the door. And as soon as she did, me and Terry, we like gang busted in. Like just bam, right inside the room, shoved her back, slammed her into a wall, and then we threw her on a bed. There were two beds in the room. We threw her on one of them. Terry jumped up on the bed and jumped up on top of her and punched her in the face. I jumped up on the bed and I bitch slapped her and punched her. And then she was like, I'm sorry. And we said, "Yeah, sorry for what? Girl, what the fuck did you do, bitch? What did you do?" Listen, I'm not proud of this story, so that y'all know, but I did fight a lot back in those days. And this story is a situation of what we would call street justice, okay? So before y'all think that I'm like some deranged person, this is a case of like street kids that are growing up in street justice, okay? So she admitted what she did. Terry and I proceeded to beat this girl from one end of her hotel room to the other. Yeah. Blood all over the walls, blood all over the beds, blood all over the floor. And she ended up back on the bed. Terry straddled her. I held her down. And Terry said, "Bitch, my face is scarred because of you. So now you're going to remember me." And she pulled a knife out of her boot. She had on boots, and she pulled it out of the boot. And I held that girl down while she cut her face. One cut, but still, no, I didn't mean to make that sound like I'm making light of it. She cut her face right across her cheek one time. And then we left her there. And we told her to get the fuck out of town and don't ever show her face in New Orleans again. And we never saw her again. So, isn't that cheerful to start the day off with? Sorry. So, life is moving on. You know, I'm still working at the French Casino, and Terry is working at Fun Limited, and I'm still dating Walker. If y'all have been around, if you're new, I had a guy named Walker that I was dating who was a sex maniac. Yeah, totally. I'm serious. I've said this before, 5-6 times a day, no joke. Every day. Like, no days off. A girl can only take so much, y'all. Thankfully, we did not live together, so I didn't have to see him every single day. So Terry she had broken up with the guy, Tony, that she used to date after our fight and me giving him a blowjob. And if you haven't seen that video, I suggest you go back a few and catch up. Yeah, I was bad, Jamie, and I drove away her boyfriend, and I caused them to break up. And so, but we fought, we made up. She sent me to jail, so it's, you know, kind of even, if you want to say that. So yeah, she starts dating this new guy, okay? Real cute guy, and they're getting along really well, you know, and things are going along really smoothly, you know, in our lives. And I'm seeing Walker, although at this time, y'all, Walker thought I was 22 when we met. He thought I was 21 when we met, and then he thought I was 22 when we got back together, because I lied about my age in the French Quarter until I turned 21. I was lying about my age. Very few people knew my real age. So Walker found out my real age during this time, that I was only 19. And he was like 30. Yeah. So come to find out, he was like, if I'm honest, it kind of turns me on even more. Yeah. The fact that I was even younger turned him on even more. Typical dude. So, I'm sorry, guys. Those of you who are watching, I apologize, but you know, you kind of earn the reputation. So anyway, Terry's dating this guy, and one Friday night, we're getting ready to go to work. You know, she's going to go to her job. I was at her house, and we were getting ready to go to work together. And we happened to turn on, or was it Saturday night? Anyway, we happened to turn on America's Most Wanted. Yeah. The old TV show America's Most Wanted. And we're watching it, and we're not thinking too much of it until we see the guy Terry's dating come up on the screen. Yeah. And if y'all want to know what happened next, y'all know the routine. Be here tomorrow, and I will too. I love you all. I love you all for watching, and I love you for the comments. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.